back to the Colorblind Architect Podcast. I'm David, and today I want to talk about the importance of speaking up and making your voice heard. The reason why I want to bring this up is I've been thinking a lot about how the nature of tyrants, if you look at tyrannical societies, you can even look at something like 1984, the novel, which is actually a very frighteningly accurate depiction of a totalitarian society like China or North Korea. And the fact that there's kind of this mental gymnastics that you end up having to play when you are the subject to a tyrant. You have to play mental gymnastics, and you're constantly thinking about how, okay, am I saying the right thing? Am I saying the politically correct narrative? Am I staying in the good graces of the regime? And what you find is you end up saying 2 plus 2 equals 5. Um, Not a very good way of living your life. So it's really important to be able to speak up, speak out. Now, it's not just that you need to be able to keep your mind clear in this way. I think it's also clear that if you're accepting 2 plus 2 equals 5 as a narrative, um, just because of the social pressure or the pressure from the regime, then what ends up happening is everybody else feels that social pressure, and it becomes like this self-perpetuating, idiocy that across the society, you get enough people behaving in an idiotic way like that, accepting 2 plus 2 equals 5, and eventually you're no longer inventing rockets to go to Mars. You're no longer inventing um, electric cars like Tesla. You're no longer doing these magnificent things that have brought us to such a great level of technological achievement. And you start declining. As we saw in the Soviet Union, that's exactly what happened. There's the famous case of when Stalin is, giving a speech in Moscow amongst Politburo members, and there's a bunch of Politburo, um, members all clapping. Well, they were all scared to be the first person to stop clapping at the end of the speech. So they just kept clapping. They just kept clapping and clapping and clapping for the longest time, and nobody would stop clapping. Eventually, somebody had to, and they ended up in the gulag. So you, you think about something like that, and it's like, is that the kind of society that we want to live in, where if you're not abiding by the dictates of a tyrant, or if you're not, following with the dictates of the mob, even, because even if we just look at in America, we have the same social problem that occurs. You get the social pressure on social media, and it looks like everybody is saying one thing, and so you start disbelieving your own eyes in order to be accepted by the group. And as the group gets further and further crazy, guess what happens? You get even crazier, and the madness of the crowd gets even worse. You start doing really, really stupid things. This is the problem with not standing up and speaking your mind. So, the final point that I wanted to make was, when it comes to tyrants in general, they are bullies. They use their power that's granted to them by the fear of the people. So, same thing, just like a bully, they don't actually have that much real power. Yeah, sure, they might try to beat you up, but here's the thing, it's mostly the fear of getting beaten up that causes people to subject to the will of a bully. And thus is true in North Korea, in China, and any other totalitarian regime where It is the fear of getting punished that is what keeps people in line. So, what happens if everybody is speaking out? What happens if everybody is saying the truth? Then tyrants have no power. See, that's the genius aspect of speaking the truth. If you speak the truth, they can't stop you. And even if they punish you, at least you die knowing that you did what was right. So be like Captain Jonathan Archer on Star Trek Enterprise when he's being constantly tortured to say that there's 5 lights and there's only 4 lights. You know, it's a variation on the 1984 2 plus 2 equals 5. You know, be the person who's willing to get tortured, who's willing to keep saying the truth, regardless of the consequences, even if those consequences are the social pressure. If if you have all your friends saying, "Oh, but yeah, the dress is red," or whatever stupid issue is on social media, don't just say what it seems like everybody else is saying just because they're saying it. Because if you do, you're giving power to others. So don't give the terrorists, don't give bullies the power, and don't give the mob the power. And in other words, keep the power to yourself by speaking the truth. And that is my message for today. Speak the truth. And with that, I'm the colorblind architect. Peace out.